Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we get horsesick all over the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Horsesick, and I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher Marcus again, Porter.
And today we are here to discuss Minute 3 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Minute 3 begins with the scouts dismounting, and it ends with 2 of the scouts discovering Steven Spielberg's credit in a cave.
And all my first note says is, I feel like Jerry's going to have a lot to say about Herman.
Well, say, Pete, I'm glad you brought up Herman. So,
wait, who's Herman? All I know is a kid fell off a horse. It was hysterical.
Well, last movie, The Temple of Doom, we had a thin woman falling off an elephant.
Yeah.
And so now this movie, we got a fat boy falling off a horse.
The crowds demanded more. And Spielberg knows where his audience is.
And by the way, I'm throwing this out there early on. That's a young Porkins.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a young
Wow.
Porkins. I think that's what's going on. This is, we haven't figured it out, but we might figure out what's happening here. It's coming up soon. It's maybe a flashback. And I think that we're actually going to see some other young characters that are familiar. But, they're, characters that are familiar to
Wow.
us, but from the other movies,
like
but young. Yeah.
I mean, do they, in Raiders, do they not recognize each other, or are they willfully ignoring each other and pretending, oh, you're dead to me. You're no one to me.
They're willfully ignoring each other, clearly. And if you think about it, he keeps saying, Porkins goes, top men. Basically saying, I didn't forget that Boy Scout trip, whatever it is, 24 years ago or whatever it is. So, yeah, I think we know. Some inside joke between them,
Maybe.
And now all I can do is picture Porkins lying on the ground, flailing around like a turtle trying to flip itself right side up.
Yeah.
Like poor Herman really is having a hard time getting up.
It's like a Blade Runner reference. Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford, the end.
Well, and so we get Herman's Horsesick.
Yeah, but I did not ever hear that line at all until today or something, which I assume is because everyone was laughing in the theater so uproariously at the kid falling off the horse that you couldn't hear that line.
No, I didn't either. But, I wonder, first of all, let's shout out, it's fantastic alliteration.
Yeah.
Herman's Horsesick. Like this, the sentence falls flat with a John is horsesick. Gregory's horsesick.
Yeah.
Was horsesick one word or is it 2?
I typed it in one word in my notes and I get the red line under it.
Oh, yeah. See, so that makes it a slightly, it's 3 words and only 2 of them are an alliteration.
Yeah.
I'm not that impressed.
You're right, though. It had to be like Gregory got gangrene.
Well, no, it's not.
John got jaundice.
Sam got salmonella.
But we got H's and S's. Herman's Horsesick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And here's
right.
the other thing. When I first heard this, Tommy, you're going to love this.
Uh-oh.
I actually thought it was Herman's horse is sick. I didn't know that Herman was suffering from this ailment.
No, Herman,
Herman
I
thought
leaped off his horse because his horse was about to barf on him or something.
Exactly. I thought, like, everybody was like, Herman's horse is sick. But it just got Herman's horse sick.
Can I say one thing I find sort of refreshing about this? Almost any time you get a movie with a bunch of like Boy Scouts or like young boys out doing something, camping or whatever, you get a lot of like pretty serious hazing and bullying. And I like that this is about as far as it goes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It doesn't turn into a whole like, oh, some kid's getting, traumatized here.
No, they don't like pants him and teabag him when he's down.
I mean, yeah,
Quick, Herman Horsesick.
Let's go, boys. Yeah, it's true. Like any other movie, I mean, if, you know, the fat kid falling off a horse, yeah, they would gang up on him and we'd never see Herman again.
Yeah, they'd go like slap him in his stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
All kinds of stuff.
Although they kind of are we the audience now in the position of those guys? Like, are we?
So we're the bullies now.
See, this is fascinating. I brought this up years ago on the Caddyshack Minute about old people, like doddering old people, but it applies to this too. How do you cast the role of Herman? Like, how do you say this? It's not as true here as with other roles like this. But it's like, okay, you see your body shape, your body type. That's the funny thing about this scene. Yeah. It's not like you're going to act or anything. It's just you. You're going to fall off a horse and it's going to be really funny.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, so whatever you do, don't start jogging before the audition.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We want that Herman magic. You're perfect.
Yeah.
Like, how do they, I mean, are there casting directors who are just super humane and well versed in this, and they just like know exactly what to say, and they take them into a very safe, nice place and say, "Listen, I love you."
I've always wanted that too. Yeah,
I think what they do here is, Herman's probably 29 years old, and he, he knows, he knows where his bread is buttered in Hollywood. And he knows, like, he's kind of typecast, and he's rocking that thing now. Maybe he had a tough time when he was 15 or 14 or whatever, but now he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna turn this into where he's pigeonholed as that character, I guess, and he just kind of rocks that, and that's that's how I guess that's how it is. I don't know.
I just hope he's happy. That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I feel guilty as an audience member, so I want him to be happy.
I do too. And they kind of set it up, and it's its own little brand of fat shaming, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although again, they could have, like we're all saying, they could have gone. Like, they don't do anything with that. Like, this
nobody
is by
actually
far
says
the
that.
goofiest thing that he does.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and I do like he's got a very like Saturday Evening Post vibe. Like he could definitely get on the cover of a Saturday Evening Post.
Me?
Like.
I just want
his cheeks out,
pinch those cherry cheeks.
Yeah,
his little bugle.
Well, and I wondered, like as we discover, he's got, other Boy Scouts have a compass and this sort of thing, and he has a bugle, and I'm like, is that symbolic for bugles?
What do you mean?
like, what do you mean? What I mean? Like for bugles, like the snap. Like, is it just
like
the whole thing?
He can't play any Eclair, so he brings a bugle or something. He can't play a cherry pie.
Yeah, so exactly. And didn't we do this? And it makes sense. At least we're consistent. Because didn't we in Raiders? We kept talking about Porkins was like he's a nuts on the subject. Did somebody say nuts?
I'm starving.
And so I feel like, we're not helping this whole situation.
No,
and
we're absolutely the wrong people. We're bad.
And as a former fat kid myself, I mean, I feel like, I'm allowed to knock Herman a little bit because I feel like we share an ancestor, Herman and I. We're both. It was both our uncle Ruddy O'Rubicund was our ancestor. Oh, but I have a question for you here now. Is Tommy especially? Is this the work of just one bad apple horse? Like, did the horse jounce Herman on his dismount? And that's right, Tommy. I said jounce.
You're using your seventh grade, what is it? Separate piece.
Exactly.
Separate piece verbology.
That's right. The entire book is around the one word jounce.
Teacher, what's jounced?
Yeah,
dumb kids. He jounced the limb.
He jounced the limb, and I'm wondering if maybe the horse jounced his back a little bit and knock Herman off. Like, and is there like a cabal of bad apple animals around the world that knock their riders off? Like the elephant in Temple of Doom who knocked Willie off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Willie kind of had it coming, though.
That's the thing. Willie, quote, had it coming. What about Herman?
He seems like a nice enough guy, a sensitive enough guy.
He actually seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
He wants to help. Yeah.
So I don't know. I pin this on the horse.
Okay, so you think the house is a little bit like a separate piece. The horse jousts Herman, and then like later on, he's going to feel really guilty about it.
Yeah. Then the horse dies.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Doesn't everybody die in every book ever?
Only if you're reading them in 8th grade.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah, like the Pig Man. Spoiler alert.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why'd you say Pig Man? That's low. People are trying to enjoy this show, and you bring up Pig Man.
The amazing thing about the Pig Man, that I'm going to just ruin the book. It's not, it's already ruined anyway by the time you get to the end. It's like, yeah, we killed the old man with our blackened hearts.
Yeah, he's super nice. We just had a party in his house and trashed the place and ruined, all of his precious, memorabilia from his wife and everything. It's cool.
It's totally cool.
Now there's a quiz on it, too. You're already sobbing, but now there's a quiz.
And the guy's name was Mr. Pignetti. And it's like, you know what? We're going to call you Pigman.
Take it.
Yeah, it started off bad. You know what, Mr. Pignetti? Just don't engage people who call you Pigman. That's how it goes. Yeah.
Keep your door shut. Just lock yourself off from the
I
world.
gotta say, we need a sad bell.
Oh God.
Does wearing super high socks feel good?
Never.
Oh, really? Often it doesn't. But if they're the right socks and they do what they're supposed to do, it can be kind of pleasant.
Because we see,
I find
there's very specific thing. We see a lot of different Boy Scouts here. The very first kid that we see in this minute gets off the horse and he grabs his back like he's about 70 years old. And he's got a compass,
Right.
And then we see our buddy Herman fall off the horse. And then we see like there's a kid on the far right of the screen who pulls his socks like as high as they can go.
That's right.
And I'm thinking, people don't really do that anymore. But I can tell you, in 1984, Tom Taylor and I did that.
Oh, yeah. We almost choked to death on our socks. I'll post the picture. Don't worry about it. I'll put it on the listener's hole. Listener's Crusade, sorry.
The listener's hole. Gross.
We get John Williams. We get John Williams credit. We got to just mention him.
John Williams. Of course.
Anyway,
I'm still mad at you guys, too.
Why? Oh, for last time we didn't like the Jurassic Park music.
You guys don't like. You didn't
sweeping and glorious and inspiring, whatever. Always spinning his wheels in a glorious fashion. All right.
Not only Pete. Not only are you still resentful, you still have a mild anxiety disorder. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, I'm wondering
Has
how.
not got away yet.
How do you feel when the Scoutmaster says, "Chaps, no one wander off," and then these kids scatter like the Big Bang?
Yeah, I love it. Every kid wanders off immediately.
They're like
they
in
just take off
mid-scatter
running.
as he's saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm anxious if I'm him. If I'm the kids, I'm kind of like, freedom.
Yeah. Well, this perfectly illustrates why I stopped being a den leader at in Cub Scouts. Like, this is what happens. You're like, okay, where'd they go? Where are they? Oh my gosh! I think one of them is dead already.
Yeah, you're about to get.
My God.
You're gonna get your lawsuit badge.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do you think do you think he took off running trying to track him down, or do you think he just sat down and played some Candy Crush, or what do you think he's doing now?
Yeah.
Candy Crush. Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Oh, that's awesome. Pete's gonna have to cut that, and it wasn't me that said it.
Yeah. Just bleep it. It'll create mystery.
Yeah.
My God, what are those perverts talking about? Oh, you know what my favorite part of this minute is? It's not actually in the minute. We get the credit for George Lucas and Frank Marshall.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that inspired me to finally look up and see if Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy are still married, and they are.
Nice.
I knew that they were married for years and years, but for some reason, she's been huge in the media lately, with Star Wars and Lucasfilm and everything. And they never, at least I have never heard them mention, and her husband, Frank Marshall, is over doing, Spielberg-y stuff. And I'm just happy those two kids are making a go of it.
Yeah, that makes me happy too.
Yeah.
And I actually she had something really cool to say about this, which I had right here too.
Hey.
She was talking about how even though everybody involved with these movies had become just enormous stars, like the biggest stars in the world, like Lucas and Spielberg and Ford and all these guys, Frank Marshall. Mm-hmm. And she said she was just floored that they all came back together and they worked collaboratively, just like, this was their first movie working together.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think is really a testament to those
Oh,
guys.
that's cool.
They do seem like a club.
Yeah, Backstreet Boys thing where one of them becomes Justin Timberlake or whatever. I don't even know. Is that in sync? I don't remember. It's in sync or
Same
something.
thing.
Any one of these guys could have been, I'm too big to work like this now. I'm too big to
Yeah.
Sure.
collaborate.
So upon entering the cave, Baby Porkins says, "I don't think this is such a good idea."
You're part of the problem, Jerry.
He said,
Calling him Young Porkins is one thing.
"Young Porkins, Baby
Porkins
Porkins." Young Porkins. Young Porkins says, "I don't think this is such a good idea," which is a paraphrase of Senor.
Of young Pete.
Senor, nobody has come out of there alive.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, I was going to say it's also a bit of a paraphrase of I've got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Well, very much, yeah. And then immediately following that line is a very Raiders-like Chachapoyan whip pistol-like sound effect. Did you catch that, Pete?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. It's kind of like it half sounds like Dagobah, and it half sounds like where Indy like whips the pistol out of Barranca's hand in Raiders at the very beginning.
Is it from those dudes down below? Like
It's
that
you
they're
know
about to
what?
discover,
It's sort
or-
of an atmospheric, like an ambient sound effect where you're like, oh, like something scary is going on. They entered a cave and there's like something like maybe
Yeah.
Darth Vader's in the cave. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got a very, it's very much the way he manhandles Satipo right there. Like he grabs him and he drags him back.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like they really nailed like a young Indy right here.
Yeah.
And I love that when he walks into this, like the sunlight kind of illuminates his belt, and he's got this Hopi kind of traditional Hopi belt instead of his scouting belt. Mm-hmm. And I think that's beautiful script writing. Like we get a little window into who he is. Like he kind of bucks authority a little bit. He wears his own thing, but you can also see, he likes kind of, the Native American stuff. He's into the history. I think that's a nice little touch.
Yeah. That is cool.
But I was, like you were talking about Herman being Baby Porkins, and I was wondering if his last name could be Forrestal.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Because I don't think we ever learned Forrestal's first name.
wow.
So he's idolizing Indy this whole time, and he's looking up to him.
No.
He's like, I kind of want to be like this
And then
guy.
by the time, but that makes me rethink the entire Stay Out of the Light booby trap in Raiders, where it's like it flayed all his chubbers off, and he became real thin or something. Like it was like it was
years
just-
later, he could have trimmed down.
Yeah. But then you've got Indy literally dragging him into the light right here. So maybe he's like, oh, I'm following in my mentor's footsteps. This kid was always walking in the light, and he did it one too many times.
Hell, maybe he just put down the bugles. That's
And the Cool Ranch bugles, put them down.
and those dessert bugles, the like cinnamon chocolate ones, like maple syrup on top. I like that, Pete. Though he does, he drags him into the light. That's really that. Wow.
Yeah.
In the Temple of Doom, we had that one pilot that had the dastardly chortle.
Uh-huh.
And how would you guys describe the laugh that we hear at second 37 here in the cave?
Yeah, it's constant in the next coming minutes.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of it. That's a good
Yeah,
question.
it's
'cause
a cackle.
it sounds like a really specific laugh from another movie, and I can't figure out what it is actually.
I have it as a villainous snicker with a pinch of low-down lily-livered in there.
Yeah.
It is. It's like one of those low-down lily-livered laughs. Like the laugh itself, it's shallow. It's beggarly. It's contemptible.
Yeah, it's a crony. It's not like the cool stalwart villain.
No.
It's
Yeah.
it's the crony lily
It's the
livered
sidekick, yeah.
sidekick.
That's why I brought it up. It's a very, very specific type of laugh. Or
Yeah.
villainous snicker.
Yeah, I like that. We get Robert Watts, produced by Robert Watts.
Mm-hmm.
He's back again. And I love, you look him up, and he hasn't done that many films, but the films he has done are, it's Raiders, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Last Crusade. It's like, oh my God.
He's
man,
doing
this guy-
fine.
Yeah. And he's Julian Glover's neighbor, or he was Julian Glover's neighbor, which is why Julian
That's
said he
awesome.
got the
Yeah.
part. And we get young Porkins following Indy and he's kind of out of breath.
Well, duh. Can somebody?
That's part of the character.
Yes.
It's part of the.
Can somebody explain to me, Indy and Baby Porkins, like why are they friends? Is because there's a lot of pushing and pulling, of Herman, and I'm wondering, is this a friendship of convenience? Are they like?
I think this is a Satipo situation. Like he's just kind of manhandling him, like he's kind of having him do his bidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying it's a bad idea to be in the cave. So it's like, was Indy like, yeah, you're coming with me. We're gonna go check out this cave for some reason.
Are they friends outside of this Boy Scout troop?
Yeah, it's hard to. I think we get the sense later that Herman really wants to be Indy's friend, but I don't know if we get a sense that Indy is Herman's friend.
Right. It's hard to tell. To be fair, it's hard to tell. He's got a lot on his mind whenever we see him and Herman together.
In the script, it does say that Herman is being bullied by the other kids, and Indy's the one guy that's nice to him. Like Indy's the guy that kind of takes him under his wing. Yeah.
Our hero.
Like that's actually called out in the script. So.
Well, it's not so here.
No, it's not at all. So.
Yeah. I mean, I wondered, like, are they both outcasts? And so, one is like this ahead of his time Tony Hawk kind of kind of guy. Indy is this, and the other one just falls off stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, it's like neither one of them is, I guess, the archetypical Boy Scout here.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. We get I think a foreshadowing that there are going to be a lot of pratfalls coming up in this movie. Like that was kind of our first glimpse of it. And I think that's going to be, he's going to be a common theme. Like people sort of behaving in that manner.
I'm just wondering if, like, and I kind of don't want an answer to this. I don't want anyone to look it up or to tell me or to post pictures proving that I'm right. But are there like books or comics where Herman is actually his sidekick and they have adventures and like he's the first sidekick to Indiana Jones or something?
I think there is a comic or a book where they have like some kind of adventure and you find out that his dad is a wealthy treasure hunter.
Oh, Herman's dad is?
Yeah.
Porkins.
Yeah.
Now what does it say about me that like I hear that and I just get depressed and annoyed? Like why don't I think like, oh, that could be an interesting yarn?
Yeah.
It says that you understand things.
I've got a knowing of stuff.
Yes, it's like you appreciate. Sometimes mystery is better. Occasionally, there are certain situations.
Yeah.
Yes,
that is it right there. I know there are people out there who love the books and the comics for this and for Star Wars and for everything. They eat it all up, and a lot of it probably is good, like on its own, by its own merits and everything. But yeah, like, I don't need every lunch period of Indiana Jones described to me throughout his entire life.
And not just that, like, how many kids did you grow up with? And did every one of those kids have a wealthy treasure hunter or a wealthy philanthropist or an action hero as a dad?
Yeah,
but like in these things, it seems like everybody's backstory is some kind of unbelievable story.
I'm gonna go hang out with Billy Edison and his dad.
Yeah,
exactly. I like I guess hypothesizing. I think that Porkins grows up to lead a big band.
I can see that totally. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to know that he grew up to like, he's probably playing in that band at the band at the beginning of Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, we find out that Indiana Jones would know just about everybody he encounters in these movies if he would just pay a little bit of attention. Like his gym teacher, his neighbor.
You leave it there. You're like, oh, he's got the bugle. He probably put a lot of his time, a lot of his energy into playing the bugle and learning it, and then the bugle certainly turned into the trumpet, and then now he's crushing it on Route 66 with Count Basie and Artie Shaw.
Yeah, I like that.
Why can't we just decide that that's the case? That's canon?
That is.
It is.
Okay.
It is
what
canon.
happens.
Yeah.
If enough of us write to Lucasfilm and just say, hey, this is what we decided. Care of Indiana Jones Minute.
Uh-huh.
And then don't make a comic book about it.
Right. Just
Yeah,
let it
like
be.
baby Porkins and the hunt for the golden trumpet.
Baby Porkins.
Yeah.
The hunt for the golden note.
Oh, there you go.
Stop. That's good. I like that.
Our stupid ideas are too good. They're going to run with them. This is the tight wire we tread.
Well, talking about stupid ideas, this isn't a stupid idea, but this movie originally opened a lot differently.
Oh.
Jeffrey Boehm had written a much different opening, and the original script had it until George Lucas said, hey, let's start it with him as a kid. Because originally it starts in 1939. An Indy and two loyal friends are trying to retrieve this Aztec sun god statue from a Mexican bandit. And they're in a cantina in kind of an isolated town. And, they go through this whole kind of fight scene with them. And one of his companions turns out not to be a grave robber like you think he is, but he's a museum curator. And Indy gets the statue back from one of the bandits and hands it to him. And he says, I believe your museum is the proper home for this. And the guy gets a really kind of nasty look on his face. And he goes, oh, you've scratched it. And that was our opening.
Whoa.
Wait, what does that mean? Like he wasn't going to take it now or something?
Well, no, I think it's just like a little, like Indy goes through this stuff, risks life and limb to get this piece for the museum. And the guy's like, oh, you scratched it.
All right. That is weird because you mentioned maybe last time that who was it? Did like they had the full script and then somebody did a final polish on it.
Oh, Tom Stoppard came in. And
Yeah.
polish.
Tom Stoppard. Yeah. That stuff drives me bats because you see like this credit here, Jeffrey Boehm, and you're watching the movie, you're like, hey, you know what? There's some zingers in here. There's some good lines. There's some. This is nicely paced and a tight little thing. And then you're like, oh wait, I guess I don't credit Jeffrey Boehm with all of that necessarily. I got to think about it. And,
it's hard to know. Yeah, and I mean there are pieces of a little bit of everybody in here. It's Minnow Mayes has some of the stuff, and I would imagine there's even a little bit of Chris Columbus stuff left over.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Although we didn't get Seamus, the Scottish ghost that Indy has to fight.
Right. Or his like Brooklyn student who follows him around the world because she's in love with him or something. I don't know. I'm not making this up.
Well, before we finish off, though, we should mention we get the director's signature here. We get directed by Steven Spielberg. As the camera pans over that circular opening that they've cut through the timbers.
Yeah, is that what that is? What?
Yeah. We'll get into that a little more next minute. But I was talking to our buddy Jamie, the archaeologist, and like in the script, it says that this is an ancient kiva. Like they had these religious buildings in the South American Southwest, the ancestral Pueblo people did, and they would be these round rooms where they would hold religious ceremonies. But this isn't actually a kiva since it's not round. And Jamie was just saying she thinks it's there's a kind of a storehouse or a granary. And it's weird. They had, they would be built often in caves, and they would have these timber roof ceilings, and so looks like they cut right through it. Oh,
so they cut through it? It wasn't just like, ruined with age or something?
No, I couldn't tell. My guess is that they cut right through it.
I don't understand what that is. That it looks very Temple of Doomish to me.
Yeah.
It does kind of, yeah.
Like the bandits might be, looking for the Sankara stones or something.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got me a Sankara stone.
They've got they've put some work into this. Like they've got all these, like counterweights and pulleys, and they've definitely put a lot of effort into tracking this down, and they put some ingenuity into it.
Yeah. If only they had checked the Boy Scout track schedule, trail schedule, to know that they were going to be alone out there for long enough.
Yeah.
They could have gotten away with it. I guess they do get away with it, don't they? Spoilers. Well, if no one has anything else,
wait a minute.
3.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. But Jerry, I was ending the minute. What could possibly be so important?
Now, this just in from Professor Christy Porter. There's no such thing as horsesick, but there is such a thing as chubby.
Aw.
Christy's not helping at all.
No, I know. Look, she's related to me, and I'm related to Ruddy O'Rubicon, and Ruddy O'Rubicon's related to Herman. We're all good. Everybody's okay.
All right.
Everybody's okay here.
You guys can joke about it.
Yeah, sometimes our family portrait looks like, the the front of a Campbell's soup can.
No wonder you hate the word smile. Smile.
We all suffer from rosacea and bugles.
Such a handsome family. Well, on that note, let's put an end to minute 3. And we encourage you to come back here tomorrow. But first, Pete, where can the people find us if they can't wait until tomorrow?
Well, one thing you could do is check out our Patreon if you'd like to help support the show. You can go to indianajonesminute.com/Patreon or patreon.com/IndianaJonesMinute. And we do a special weekend show where we talk about other movies. Like so far, we talked about Jaws and Close Encounters and some of the Indiana Jones comic books. And you get stickers, all kinds of stuff, postcards. So if you're interested, check it out, support the show, and you can get more content from us.
Yes. You never have to say goodbye. We're always in your ears. So please do that. And please come back tomorrow for minute 4 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
He's a nuts on the subject.
Nuts!
I love that they know each other. Indy and Porkins know each other when they meet. They just don't say anything.
I was going to do some kind of an Andrew Hawthorne. Porkins!
Herman's Horsesick!